Okay, here's a rare and unique find. It was found in a burial mound up in Russia, in the area we call Russia today. What these are the first two known implements ever made out of iron. They're made out of meteorific iron, they say, for at this point. I don't know how well they've been able to test that to a point, but it's not too hard to do nowadays to find out the composition of iron, and then look into that composition and see with nickel and things that are in it, and that is very common to meteorites, and so they can tell. In fact, there are signatures to meteorites, and if found other pieces, sometimes they can find actually the meteorite that it came from, which is also pretty unique. But it's because they have a slight fingerprint on them in their makeup, if you will. It looks like on this one I can even see a slight filigree that's right in this point here that's barely exposed up under all of this crustacean that's on it and oxidation that's on it. I wonder if that actually is something or just some look in the patina that's actually on it. Amazingly, these date to 4,800 years ago or 2800 BC. They tried to redate it, not off of the site itself, but do it with a special form of dating on the iron, and again, it dated to that date, confirming that this had been created by them at that point. Now, this is hooked up with the Yamnaya culture that we talk about so much, and Proto-Indo-Europeans, if you will. And the next appointment that we have of this type showing up are actually in King Tut's daggers. Yeah, well before the Iron Age really got going, hundreds of years before the Iron Age ever started going, there was a burial of King Tut, and then we find that in that there's a ceremonial dagger that I've done 2 different videos on that show this effect, and it was probably passed down from Akhenaten, and people said it was from the Amarna letters and so on, that they've decided that it was given as a sacred weapon to King Tut from these ancient people of Colchis or Anatolia that were there, and that correlates with these people of later date too, for again we're looking at 2800 BC, so we were actually looking at about 50 years before the pyramids were even built, in a time that we're really just burgeoning on the Bronze Age itself and leaving the edge of the Copper Age. So it's a pretty remarkable find to find. Now, this burial mound that was shown here, that it was found in, it was found with the mummy still left inside of it, and there's a few things that are about it, but these meteorific iron things, it's kind of strange to look at the idea of that. But this would have been something, of course, because of the tribal burial mound situation, a chieftain and somebody extremely important with the tribe, and then therefore because of that fact he was buried with it. Because burial mounds sometimes gotten into back in elder days, and maybe people knew about sacred weapons that they had, that's the reason we may not find more of this in some of these mounds. But the strangeness to the guy that they found inside the mound was a little bit unique, but not quite in the conference that we're talking about, because he was actually mummified. Yeah, totally mummified, as you saw there. And so that leads to a different idea. It kind of has a strangeness to it. It's pretty significant, showing this type of stuff that really people did not have this level, or only few people had anything near this level of achievement at an ancient time, dating as far back as 2800 BC here. I wonder if they'll take and run it through the process that'll try to get all that erosion off of it and see if there was some etching onto it, perhaps some letters, who knows what would be there, symbols and so on, that may have been tried to be etched into it, but you wonder what they're going to etch into it with, and how they could have pounded this out actually and gotten worked. So a pretty remarkable find, and again, this is the earliest meteorific iron, or earliest iron worked into an actual implement. They call it a tool, not necessarily a knife, although it definitely looked a little bit more like Grandpa's shaving blade there at about 6 or 8 inches long. Let me know what you think down below. Peace.